Today, we are going to take a look through my website. I just relaunched it, and I kind of want to explain why you don't need a lot of complicated stuff for your website and how you can create a really, really simple and effective website for your business without having a lot of bells and whistles. You kind of just need some good strategy and understand what actually goes into creating a website that helps your business grow. So we're going to be taking a look at my website strategy and all the pages I built out. But before we begin, I just want to say what's going to help you with creating your own website is taking a step back and really thinking about a few things. There are just a handful of things that you really, really need to have in order before you can create a really awesome website. So the first thing before anything else, before you even consider opening up your website platform builder or creating any graphics or writing any copy, is you really, really, really need to understand where your business is going and what you want out of your business. And also, what are your main income sources? So think about just your business goals in general. So we're going to be looking at my website, so I'll use mine as an example. I am a digital shop. I sell resources for creative entrepreneurs and website designers that help this audience kind of grow their business or design more efficiently in their business. So that's kind of my thing. Now, your thing needs to be personified throughout your whole website. So before you can start working on that with your website, you need to know what it is that you're doing, right? So that's kind of the whole point of all of this. So I got really, really clear on what it is that I'm providing and who I'm doing it for. And then everything else on my website points to that. It points to my digital shop. And I also really, really thought about, what do I want to represent to my community when someone lands on my website, or even let's make it bigger picture. When someone interacts with my business in general, whether it's on my website, whether it's through social media, whether it's through a video or a networking event or an in-person conversation I have with someone, I had to really, really think, what are the things that I want to represent here? When someone's thinking about me, what is it that I want them to say about me? How do I want them to feel after they've interacted with me? And I think that that has been so, so important and helpful for me in really being able to execute my vision, because it's one thing to kind of have what it is that you're doing and what you're offering. But when we tap into our emotions and the experience that we can provide to people, that's when things really, really start to get traction and help your business grow. So thinking about what it is that you're doing, your business goals, what your offerings are, and then what you want to represent, and then everything else can filter through that. And there's a lot more that we could go into there, but I just wanted to give a quick little preface because that was so, so important for me in order to create the website that we're about to review. Okay, so I'm going to, and actually I'm getting ahead of myself. So getting really, really clear on your business goals and what you want to represent, you can then translate that into website goals. And I'll kind of walk you through that in just a second. The other thing that I really, really want you to think about is your website copy and the images and graphics, icons, etc. that are on your website. Now, I don't think that you need to do a lot of work for these things. As a matter of fact, this is me giving you permission to simplify, simplify, simplify. I have thought about what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to really drive home for people. And then I've just repeated elements throughout my website that make it feel more cohesive and consistent. And all of that will make a little bit more sense in a second as I'm walking through everything. But then, so that's kind of your imagery and your graphics, etc. You also need to think about your website copy. If you're not thinking about your audience member, your site visitor, who's on your website, if you are thinking more about yourself and what you want to say versus what someone needs to hear, then you need to do a little switch in your mindset and maybe even research how to use copy that converts. There are tons of things you can find on Pinterest that really talk about like effective website copy. That's just kind of my little spiel before we begin. Let's go ahead and dive into my website so I can walk you through some of the decisions I've made, and then hopefully that will help you kind of rethink your website and how you can simplify it and make it more effective for your business. Okay, so let's dive in. The first thing that I want to point out from what you see here is that my navigation is really, really simple. There are not a lot of things for you to choose from, and that is done with intention because you don't want to, the last thing you want to do with your website navigation is give someone decision paralysis where they don't know what to do. They don't understand what you want them to do either. The second thing I want to point out about this is that your navigation verbiage, like what everything is actually titled, needs to be abundantly clear. Now is not the time to be really, really clever. We want to be helpful more than clever. So just think about the things you want to highlight on your website. Those need to be front and center in your navigation. It needs to be clearly organized, and it needs to be really clear as to what the information on those pages will be. So for instance, the first thing that you're going to notice in my navigation is where it says digital shop. That is going to take you to my digital shop. The next thing is about. That's going to take you to my about page. Resources, that is going to be resources, obviously, and blog is the same thing. There are some pages that you might have on your website that I don't have on mine, like contact is a big one. If you are a service-based business, you might have a page in your navigation for your services, and you might have one for your portfolio. But you want to get it to as short of a navigation list as possible so that you aren't giving your site visitors too many things that they can do. Your site visitors will thank you. Like, you want to think about how can they quickly get the information that they need in the least confusing way possible. Think about, it's really important to kind of think about like how we use the internet. Most of us are doing 20 other things at the same time. We have a million tabs open. Most of the time we're searching for information. We're not just browsing for the heck of it. We want to get information. We want to get it fast so that we can keep moving on. So think about just how that's like typical human behavior when we're on the internet and we're looking for things. And you need to keep that in mind so that you can kind of optimize your website for the typical site visitor that's coming to your website. Okay, that's my navigation. Oh, and something I will point out, like say you have services. Obviously on my navigation, I don't, but say you have services. It's really, really good if you're able to, within your website builder, to use drop-down folders. So if you have a lot of information that you're trying to organize and it feels like a lot of it is really important to have up there in your navigation, then utilize drop-down folders. Like have them kind of organized into groups, but then within the folders, you can have individual pages. Like for instance, I have a client who we have an info drop-down folder, and then about an FAQ are within that folder. So, think about like what's going to be helpful for you. Like having that FAQ for my client was really, really important because she wants to field a lot of questions so that she isn't drained energetically by answering the same question over and over again. So we created an FAQ right in her navigation so that it could help support her and her business and be helpful for her site visitors too. So you can kind of group things together in subfolders. A good rule of thumb that I try to follow is 6 navigation links or less. And as you can see, I don't have my homepage linked up in my navigation. That's because most people understand that if you click the logo up there in the header, that'll take you to the homepage. So that's one link that I just like nix right off the bat so that I have more room to have links for other pages on my website, basically. Okay, so then you got a picture. My website and business are kind of all about me and like me as a personality. So I've got a picture of myself up there being all organized or something, creative, I don't know, but kind of giving some context to the website. Like, this website is centered around me, the person in this photo, there's a computer, I'm writing. So there's that. It's kind of good to use imagery that really helps tell a story about your website and your business. So the next thing I want to note is that it's really, really good to have some kind of succinct verbiage that says who you are and what you do and who you do it for. So that's what you see here. My Billy Designs is a creative studio, digital shop, and online education hub founded by owner and designer Melanie Lee. This is really intentional because this year I'm trying to build my brand recognition. I want people to know who I am and quickly associate what I do with my name. So that's why, and this took me a really long time to figure out and succinctly say, because I feel like I do a few different things that all feel important to me that I want people to know about. So it took me a little while to kind of come up with this more succinct headline for my website. So workshop it. It's okay if it doesn't take a lot of time, but we really need it to be quick and give someone a good idea of what they can expect while on this website or from your business. Now, the big thing for me is I want to highlight my digital shop. This is a new endeavor of mine. I just switched my business model to go from service-based business to digital products and courses. And so I am trying to drive this home. I've got to recreate my reputation around my business. So instead of being a designer working with creative entrepreneurs on their brands and websites, I need people to think Melanie Lee or My Billy Designs and digital resources that help me with my business and my website and my branding and design. We'll call it my business and design. And then I've got a few different types of products within my shop. So I've just laid those all out. Design templates, designer resources, Squarespace kits, free stuff. Now, something you'll notice on my website is that I do not use a lot of text. If I can use an image or a mock-up or a graphic to drive the point home, that's what I've tried to do, because people are going to be able to process that information quicker. If I just had My Billy Designs as a creative studio, blah, 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 and then I had design templates, resources, kits, free stuff listed out as just text, you're just going to gloss over it. When you're looking at a website, think of like how you interact with it. You're most likely just scanning through really quickly to see if there might be the information that you're looking for on the page, or if something will jump out at you and kind of pique your interest. That's how I definitely go through websites. I'm always scanning. So you can really kind of start to pay more attention to your behavior when you're viewing a website, and then use that information to help inform how you design your website. If you can kind of start paying attention to like human behavior and the psychology behind it by just starting with yourself and recognizing your own behaviors and like thoughts behind what you're doing and why you're doing it, it's easier to wrap your head around how to design your website because you're paying attention to human behavior. And luckily, you have a really good tester outer for that because you are a human. You can observe your own behavior. Okay, so we've got the examples of products that are in my shop. Each image is clickable. I found that is something that if people see an image that isn't just like your about page headshot or whatever, they like to click. So I've just gone ahead and linked these up to the shop. They all go to the same page, and then I have a button that leads to my shop. Now, I was reviewing someone's website earlier this week. It was their sales page for a digital product, and I scrolled through the page and I was like, where do I go to buy? I have no idea. And then I realized that it was this image that she had turned into a graphic, and somewhere like on the graphic it said like click here to buy, and I was like, where are the buttons? So you want to make it easy for people to make the next step. So think about like what that next step is, and then have a button or two or three, just depending on the length of the page, that points towards that next step. Don't overlook that. People are not going to intuitively know what to do. You need to make it glaringly obvious what you want someone to do and make it easy for them to make that next step. And you know what? Like, we're all guilty of that, especially if you've been looking at your website or a web page on your site for a long time. It's all just melding together. So like, let's come back to this with fresh eyes and figure out how can we optimize your website to help you further along with your business goals. Okay, so the next thing is I just wanted to reiterate what all I was about. Up here, I very quickly said like what you can expect from this business and like who it is, who it's for, what I do. Here, I want to really start conveying more about like the emotional side of things. So I said I'm all about finding the simplest solutions to business problems, tapping into your innate creativity to overcome obstacles, and focusing on the potential and all that's possible in your life. Now, these are just big themes in my life, and they're points that I want to stress to the people that are buying from me or following along with me in my audience, is that we can create simple solutions. Like, business is overwhelming, let's simplify it. That was so important to me because I'm a completely self-taught designer and business owner, and I tend to complicate the crap out of things. And it was something that I had to really like beat down in myself about, simplify. What's the simplest way to get what you want? And I want to, and in my business and even life, it really started to expand in the best ways possible whenever I started to simplify. It made things less overwhelming. It helped me get the results I wanted. And so that's a big thing I try to teach, is like, let's come up with simple solutions. I'm also a creative, and I always have been. And I think that's why I've been able to succeed as a self-taught designer and business owner, even though I had no experience. I've had to teach myself everything along the way. I've always leaned into my creativity to problem solve. And I really attest my success in being able to move forward in my business to that. And so that was something that was really important for me to communicate, because I work with creative people. That's my audience. That's my target customer. And they're creative too. So I know that we can simplify and like tap into natural skills they already have to help them get what they want. So that was kind of my point behind that. And then I'm a forever optimist. So I touched on like, let's focus on the potential and all that's possible. So it's kind of a way to very succinctly like add on to the feeling we're already establishing on my website, and it helps people get to know me as a person better, and hopefully it's piqued their interest, and now they want to find out more. What are these simple solutions? What can we do to overcome obstacles? And they hopefully want to learn more from me because they like what I'm all about and they want more of what I'm all about in their lives. Okay, and so then on my homepage, I just have a very quick section about who I am. This is one of the most text-heavy places on my website, with the exception of my resources page, which I'll show you in a second. But something that I've realized is that people don't know that I am completely self-taught. It's really easy to build someone else up on the internet when you don't really know them. And it's easy to make excuses for why someone else got ahead or has some success that you're also looking for. So it was really important for me to go, no, there's nothing special about me. I just worked really hard and I stayed stubborn to my goals. And so I saw like, okay, there's this opportunity where I am not connecting with people with where they're at. If they think that there is something that I have that they're lacking, then I'm not doing my job. So I wanted to use this space on my homepage to relate to people and let them know more about me. That was something that before this website redesign, I realized was kind of lacking from my strategy, is I wasn't really giving people a way to connect with me and relate to who I am as a person. So that's kind of, I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but I gave just a really quick backstory. I started in 2012. I wanted people to know how long I've been doing this. It started as a part-time freelance gig. Now it's this. I've highlighted what I offer. So digital products, courses, free resources, guides, and blog posts. And then the reason why I did that, and this is a little quick tip for you too, is if you have text, like text heavy sections on your website, do things that are going to help someone process the information while they're scanning. So use headlines, use bullet points and lists. Bold text and make it larger or a different color so that it stands out, so that if someone's just scanning through, they can pick up on these things. And I'm trying to reiterate the same thing over and over again on this page without being in your face. So for instance, let's go back up here, digital shop. I'm reiterating that by saying digital shop right here, but I'm also expanding on it. Online education hub. What's reinforcing those ideas are these graphics I've created, these mock-ups on iPads of what those digital resources are. Here, I'm reinforcing the idea behind what my products are all about with my quick little text here. And then I bolded digital products and courses so that by the time someone gets to the bottom of the page, if they had no idea who I was before they got on my website, say they never left my homepage, I want them to know exactly what I'm all about and what I'm doing. So that's kind of my like thought process behind the homepage is if somebody never, ever, ever went to any other page on my website, do they understand me and what I do and how I can help and if they're in the right place? So I hit on the fact that I'm a college dropout. I'm a self-taught designer with no business experience. And I'm all about optimism, innovation, and teaching creatives. So those are the points I really, really wanted to hit on. Notice I didn't go into like the 10 steps that got me to where I am now, or even like anything about my dog. My dog is my favorite person ever, favorite thing ever. And she's a big part of who I am. And if you go over to Instagram or social media, you might see stuff about her. I also have a boyfriend that I love, but you don't see me talking about all of the different kind of like random facts about me. We'll go to my about page in a second, but this is mostly just like trying to connect with my site visitor. It's more about them and the information they need versus like what I want to share. So again, this is also just permission to simplify. Think about like that human behavior that we talked about earlier, and think about your typical site visitor and tie that into your business goals and what your offerings are, whether it's products or services. Just think about ways to simplify your messaging so that you get straight to the point and are giving little nuggets of information that are helpful for your site visitor, but don't overcomplicate it. Okay, just start with like the simplest ideas ever related to those things and then expand upon them. Another thing you can do is you can record yourself talking about these ideas and then either transcribe it or go back and listen to it and then write out the best ideas that you come up with or things that you keep talking about. That's an indicator of like what the message that you're trying to convey really is. I'm not a great writer, so these are little tips that have helped me kind of figure this out. I do a lot of like brain dumping and then I'll edit until I've got just the clearest, smallest nugget of information about that idea, just to kind of give you an insight into like how I get to the finished product here. Okay, and then I believe, so here I've linked it up. So my picture is going to my about page and so is this button. Let's talk about buttons. We want to be really, really clear about what we want someone to do on our website. So you can definitely infuse personality, but when you're like trying to inspire action, being like really straightforward and clear cut is the best way to go. So this is, I'm going to say it a million times, but permission to simplify. Just be direct and as simple as possible. Okay, now here's a big thing. You're going to see this highlighted on pretty much every single page of my website because I have thought about my audience members. I've kind of grouped them. I've thought about my services. So here are 3 opt-ins that help me speak directly to the different interests of my audience. So my big thing is I help with design stuff, I help with website stuff, and I help web designers with their business stuff. So you can see that here, brand personality quiz. That's going to help people kind of set the foundation for the design. I am big into strategically designing for your business so that you can actually have something that's effective instead of just cute or trendy or whatever. I want like your visuals and your design to actually work for your business and help you with all your business goals. So we're starting at a very, very foundational thing. Let's just like figure out your brand personality. And then I've got follow-up emails that kind of expand on that and help someone just figure out who their brand identity is or what it is. And then we expand on like how to use that to talk to your audience and come up with your copy and come up with your design. So it's a great little like starting place for people who are interested in design. It's starting with the foundations. The next thing that I'm all about is helping people with their websites. And I specifically design on Squarespace 99% of the time. So this is a Squarespace website challenge. This is another kind of like email series that I have that walks someone through how to design their website on Squarespace in 7 days. So it's good for what people who are interested in website stuff. And then my third resource is the Web Design Business Bundle. This is specifically for my designer audience that helps them kind of streamline their process and start introducing templates and canned emails and automations and like thinking about their client experience. These are all things that are going to kind of be like a good foundational piece for web designers. So these are 3 opt-ins that help me gain very targeted email subscribers so that as I introduce new products related to design websites or having a design business, I've got these really, really targeted sections of people that I can go to say, hey, I just created this thing. I think it might help you. I think you might be interested in it. So I've got these 3 things repeated on every single page on my website. And then we've got a footer. This one's just really, really simple. It's got my copyright, my site terms, where I do business from, and then social links. So that one's pretty easy. Okay, let's go to digital shop. So I've created this website on Squarespace. And I am using the Brine template or some template in the Brine template family. This is actually a gallery, just to kind of give you like a behind the scenes peek into how I actually built it. But this is a 2-image gallery that I've added into an index section. So we've got the index page for my shop. I've got this gallery that's just got these 2 graphics. When you go to mobile, let's see what it does. If you go to mobile, it stacks. I'm not sure in the recording if that'll have translated or not. And then I got this really awesome plugin from squarespace.net, I believe is their URL. And it helps you organize, it helps you have this like filtering system for things that are in a summary block. So I'm not going to go into the tech detail of that too much. I'll leave a link to the plugin, but I found this really awesome plugin that helps me organize my shop items. So let's actually go to Browse All. So this is a summary block that feeds in images that you can then click and go to the product page. Squarespace has commerce built into their website, but my products are not just paid products. Some of them are opt-ins, they're freebies, and then some of them are paid products. So I did not want to use Squarespace's built-in commerce features because also I don't handle payments on Squarespace. I use a third-party provider for my checkout pages. Okay, so there's this awesome plugin I used. I'll link that up. And then you can see here, we've got all these different products. Some are free, some are paid. I've got them all organized up here. I want to make it easy for someone to find what they're looking for quickly when they land on my website. So people say someone just wants design help. They're not interested in their website. They're not interested in design business stuff because they're just a creative entrepreneur. They're not a designer. They can click branding and it's going to show them all of my products around branding and design. Some are free. This one is a paid product that's going to be coming soon. Website, say someone just wants help with their website. They can click website and they can see everything related to websites that are in my shop. Same for templates. Say someone wants a templated version so they can of something, whatever it is, so they can create the thing faster. I've got templates for Squarespace websites, a brand Bible template that's coming soon. Actually, all of these are coming soon. Here's a design service, like pricing guide template. So if you're looking for a template, this is where you can go. You don't have to sift through everything else. Here's one just for designers. Here's free stuff. So someone that is just looking for something for free. Everything's listed out right there, and then you can go back to browse off. So you can quickly kind of navigate and filter through the shop items to find what you need. So let's click into an opt-in. Let's do the web design business bundle. Where did that go? Okay. Okay, so what I've done here is I want to kind of like quickly communicate what this is and what it's all about and what it's going to help you do. So I've got this great little mock-up. I created mock-ups for my products, and then I basically just used them all over my website. I repeated them. So, you can create an image for your product or your service and then reuse it every time you're talking about it. You don't have to just use it in the one spot on your website. You can reuse what you create. That's actually going to drive the point home in a more efficient way, and it's going to like increase your cohesiveness and your consistency. So repurpose the things that you're creating. You don't have to start from the ground up every time you're designing for a new page. Just like think about how you can create things that are used multiple times throughout your website. Like, for instance, I use this on the product page. It's on the shop thumbnail page. It's in the footer, the pre-footer area for my freebies. On my homepage where I've got those 4 items listed out. I don't know if this one specifically is on there, but I just grabbed images that I already had from the product mock-up. So that's like just a little tip into how you can create more with less, basically. Okay, so I've clearly listed what it is, what's included. I've got my opt-in form here. I've laid out what it's going to help you do. I've used extra imagery to show what's actually inside of it. I've found that that's really, really helpful. People want to, especially with like digital products or any kind of product online, people want to, if you can like kind of show them what's inside of it, it'll help you sell more, or in the case of this free thing, have more signups, more conversions. And then here's another opt-in form. And then for all of my freebie pages, I have it so you can click through to the other freebies really quickly. So we'll go to brand personality quiz. Okay, so this is a quiz I have built using Interact. And I've just embedded it in here. Here's the mock-up, so it's kind of repeating the same thing. The only difference is I've got this kind of like intro text to explain what it's all about. And then here are the freebies again. So let's go back to the shop, and I'll show you an actual shop page or product page. So my Squarespace kits are coming soon. Most everything is coming soon, but what I do have built out is this quicker content framework. So I'll show you kind of a sales page. If you were using Squarespace's built-in commerce features, then it would go to a product page. But instead of a product page, because I wanted to have more control over like what the experience was like as someone was learning about the product, I've just created a sales page. And it mimics do you remember on my digital shop page how you had the 2 squares? I've mimicked that here. Start getting the website content you need from clients quicker. This is me trying to say like what you're going to get out of it fast. very quickly so someone understands what it's all about, so that the person on this web page can kind of like self-identify, like, is this a problem I'm having? If it's not a problem that they're having, then this isn't going to be helpful for them. So they know that they don't have to waste their time on this page. They can click off and go to the next thing, or keep browsing around my website. We hit on pain points, what's included. Here's a good button so people know how they can purchase. Here's how it works. I'm kind of reiterating that. It's kind of, when you're thinking about like website copy, think about how you can think about like the main point that you're trying to convey, and then instead of like coming up with a new thing that you're trying to say, come up with a new way of saying the same thing. Because what we really want to do is we want to drive a point home. We want to have one thing that we're trying to help someone with when they're going through any page on our website. And we want to keep reiterating that and reinforcing that idea so that by the time that they've finished consuming the information, they really clearly understand like what you can help and that you understand their problem. So I've got a little mock-up of what's included. You can also see here, I'm repeating the iPad mock-up thing throughout my entire website. Like, this is a really, like, I could say, oh my gosh, I need to like change this up. I need to vary it up because it looks like I'm just like one note. But actually what it's doing is it's creating consistency across my website, and it's making it easier for me. I'm not having to like sit over here and think like, how can I like show this idea or whatever? It's like, oh, I'll just put it on an iPad because that's how everything on my website is. And it makes actually like creating the graphics and finishing up the page go that much more quickly. So don't be afraid to repeat elements. Like, I'll just say it again, permission to simplify what you're doing. Like, make it easy for yourself. You can see there's a button to buy. That's going to happen at least one more time on the page. I'm reiterating the steps and what's included. I'm hitting on pain points here. I'm showing a testimonial here. I'm using graphics and icons here to drive points home. You can see, like, I don't have a wall of text. Like, if you look at each section as a section, you can see, like, okay, section 1, this just says what it is. Section 2, this like talks about like the transformation, the pain point, and like how to solve it basically. Here, I'm just breaking it down. Here, what's included, and I just got some quick points about the 2 things that are included. Here's how the quicker content framework works. This is just saying like, okay, I'm going to have 4 steps. What's step 1? I thought about it. Okay, what's step 2? I thought about it and wrote it out. You can see I'm using text or bolded text to point things out. Like, if someone's scanning this, I want them to see, okay, this is easy. This is step-by-step instructions. This is going to help me form the final copy for my client. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to get their revisions along with their design feedback. So if someone's just scanning, they can like pick up on the important points. And then also testimonials. This is a longer thing because it's a testimonial I grabbed from someone, but the actual like copy I'm writing is not super long or super intensive, and it's really just repeating the idea of something over and over again in a different way. So using icons, like I could have just said like, you're going to get a happier design schedule and it's going to help you do this and you're going to feel this way and blah, blah, blah. But I wanted to just get to the idea quickly. Most people do not want to read loads and loads and loads of text. They want the Cliffs Notes basically. Here's a graph I'm using because if you can use visuals to drive a point home, even better. So if someone's just scanning this page, let's start from the beginning. They're scanning. They're going to see issue, problem, solution. They're going to see what's included. They're going to see there's 4 steps. They're going to see that someone wrote a testimonial and said it was helpful. They're going to see these icons really quick. Okay, it's your solution, design, happier to schedule, it's quick, more money. They're going to like see this graph and be like, okay, what is this? And instead of reading, they're just going to be able to like quickly scan like what it's all about. bolded text that helps drive that point home, get the content you need quicker, have a streamlined process, the potential for your income is limitless. Here's a testimonial about income specifically because it ties into this chart. Here is the step-by-step process of how it works, and then one more button to buy it, and then an FAQ. And then I've also got a little form here if you need to ask more questions. I wanted to do that. I like to do that on pages where the price point is more than $100 basically, because sometimes people need help like understanding if the product's right for them. They might have a question you didn't cover in the FAQ. So I like to do that. I don't do it on all of my products, but for ones where I can like talk with someone one-on-one and help them make a decision, why not? You know, like you might get extra sales because of that one-on-one opportunity that you provided to your potential customer or client. So that's all I'm going to say about the digital shop. I showed you a freebie page. I showed you a product page and kind of my strategy behind it. So let's keep moving on. Okay, so the about page. We're repeating that double. I'm trying to think of a way to say this. The thing on the digital shop page, this is kind of repeated across all my other pages on my website. This is a way that I've been able to create consistency from page to page, is to kind of have this set up like the split blocks. And all I had to do to create it was use one graphic and change out the color and then pick an image that goes on the other side of it. Like how easy, and it looks interesting and different. So, you know, it's very simple, but a creative solution to my website pages and the design of it. So here and something I want to stress about the about page is it's not really about you or your business. It's more about the person and how you can help them. It's more about how you help than about like who you are as a person. So if you can like kind of think about your about page that way, your about page is going to become that much more effective. I mean, about pages are some of the most clicked pages on a typical website. So make it all about the person that is clicking it so that they can figure out if they're in the right place and how you help. So I very quickly said like what I'm here to do. And this was I would definitely say this is like a messaging point that took me a little while to get to. Like we do so much for our clients and our customers. We help them in a million different ways, but I had to really think about what it is that I'm actually helping someone do with my products. A lot of my audience is, well, all of them actually, now that I'm not working with service-based clients anymore, but my audience is a do-it-yourself crowd. They are working really, really hard on their business. They just want to be able to do it quicker and feel more confident about it. So I came up with this message. I'm here to bring more value to the time you're spending on your business. That talks directly to what they're doing day in and day out. Since my audience is split between creative entrepreneurs and designers, I've tried to kind of highlight that most people are going to have one audience that they're targeting. If you are there, that's good. I just like don't know how to simplify sometimes, but I have two audiences. So I've got whether you're a designer or a creative, and like explained a little bit about that. I won't go through too much of that, but I gave like a quick little intro, and then I've got these really clear graphics that say start here. If you're a designer, start here. I'm reiterating that opt-in that I had at the bottom of my homepage for designers. If you're creative, start here. Brand personality quiz. So that was a decision I had to make. What do I want to highlight? I could repeat like I don't have the Squarespace challenge in here. Well, let's see. Yeah, down here, brand personality quiz, Squarespace challenge, web design bundle. I had to make a decision. What am I going to cut out here? So that there's only two options. If you're a designer, this is where I want you to go. If you're creative, this is where I want you to go. So you're going to have to just like make decisions for yourself and for your audience and think about how to simplify whatever you're doing. So next I've just repeated this element, but I've switched up the color block so it's on this side. I wanted to point out and give a break. I wanted to point out like how to hang out with me, because that's something that I'm really pushing for in my business, is I want to actually start more conversations with people and get to know the people on my website and who are like following along with my business. So I've left all of my links here. I've also used this section to break up the text. We've got lots of white space up here. Here's a way to break it up before we get into this next more like text heavy section. So then we've got another headshot of me. Oh, and I will say, this is a mock-up I found somewhere online, and I just plugged my Instagram profile in there. And so that's like a good like visual that reinforces the idea of like, let's hang out. Instagram's my main thing, so that's why I selected that as the main, as the mock-up basically. Okay. So here I'm just going a little bit more into my background and who I am. That's like these first two sections. But this is like what I'm really wanting people to do. It's more about the person visiting my website. I'm saying I'm here for designers. I'm here for creative entrepreneurs. I've bolded those things so that hopefully they stand out a little bit more to someone scanning. I've got links to different things around my website so that hopefully I can point someone to the page that they need to go on so that they can find what they're looking for. And then I've got these little features down here. If you've been featured somewhere or have like press that you can add, this just really helps people be more impressed with you basically. And then I reiterated my opt-ins that I want people to sign up for. Okay, let's go to resources. I should have gotten some water because I knew I was going to be talking a lot. So thanks for bearing with me. I hope this has been helpful. Okay, so business tools. This is something that I added because I'm an affiliate for a lot of different things. And then I also have a lot of people who want to know, they're interested in like how I'm organizing things. So I'm combining those two ideas, like how can I help people and then put all of my affiliate links in one place. And if you have an affiliate link for something, I would say don't be shy about it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people say like, okay, I want to sign up, but do you have an affiliate link because I want you to get credit for it? I mean, I've had people do that where they're buying a $1,000 product and they wanted my affiliate link so that I get a big, if I get 30% of every single sale that comes from that, that's $300. And I've even had people like come back and after they've used my affiliate link to make sure that I've gotten the affiliate commission from it. So don't be shy about your affiliate links. Just be open about it. Like you can see here, some of these resources include affiliate links, which this is what it means, blah, blah, blah. I love all of these so much and I can't recommend them enough. I feel really good about this and I'm new to affiliate linking and marketing. That's what I'm trying to say here. So you don't have to be like skeezy about affiliate stuff. That's just like a side note. Okay, so I'm using this accordion folder kind of feature to quickly organize it. I mean, there's a lot of different sections here, and I just kind of organized it by like, what do you need? For my designers, they might want to know about my client project systems and tools, and they might want to know about the design tools. For someone who's brand new to business, maybe this is really helpful. They want to see like all the tools I'm using in my business. I've got something for digital product tech. This is a new thing for me, like within the past years when I've like started to make this transition. So if you are new to digital products, maybe you want to see what tools I'm using in my business for that. I've also started doing a lot of video and I talk to a lot of people about video. And I think having good tech really helps you feel more confident. For me, like being on video used to be really, really nerve-wracking for me, and having good tech and like tools It just helps. For whatever reason, it really helps. Courses, programs, and memberships that I'm a part of. These are things that have helped me grow exponentially in these different areas. And then books that I really love. I love getting book recommendations. So I wanted to leave these here because they've been the ones that have been the most helpful for me. And they're books that I was finding myself recommending to people over and over and over again. So I thought, oh, I'm going to put it here. So this is just like kind of a fun page that I wanted to have on my website. And as you can see, I've got this. It's another opportunity to reinforce some free trainings that someone can get. Okay, so the last thing I'll show you is my blog page. So I'm reiterating this like gallery double image thing up top. And then I've got a quick little headline that says what these blog posts are all about. And then here are the blog posts. So I use like bright, colorful imagery because that is on brand for me. You can quickly see what the title is about. I love having categories on my blog page because then you can just quickly, like say you're here to learn about business stuff. You can click the business category and then you can see all of the business posts. Let's say you want to see all the website posts. So this is kind of a way to quickly like kind of organize your blog posts. Okay. And then I've also got, you can see down here, I've got this at the bottom of my blog page. I really reiterate that. So actually, let's talk about that. Pretty much every single page has this on the top and this on the bottom. So that's creating consistency from page to page. And then the information that lives inside of the page is what changes. I've also got an archive here. And this is just another way to view the blog post, but you can see it's kind of set up the same way. So that is kind of a not super quick, but hopefully thorough overview of the thought process behind my website redesign. Hopefully you got some good tips that have helped you think about your own website in a new way. Hopefully you feel like you actually can simplify and get your website looking good without doing a lot of like bells and whistles. I mean, I think the simpler websites that I see are the most effective. They probably convert the best. So remember, like it's okay to have a simple website. We just need to be really thoughtful about what goes into it. We need to be really clear about how we're wanting our website to work for us in our business. We need to think about our site visitor and our audience, our potential customers and clients, and what they need to see on our website in order to get excited about what we're doing and get the information that they need. And then we need to make sure that we're asking for the next step. On pretty much every single page, like you need to give someone something to do. So if they're on your About page, maybe you tell them to go to your portfolio so that they can see your work. When they're looking at your portfolio, link to your service page so that they can find out more information about your services. On your service page, link to your contact page, or better yet, just have a contact form right on there that asks them to make that next step to reach out to you. We want to think about what we can do to help the person or people on our website learn more about us and get excited to interact with our business, whether it's services or products or an email sign up or hopping over to your Instagram or whatever it is. You got to come up with your specific goals that you want and then create a website that supports them. And then remember, simplify your copy. You can think about things in kind of headlines and sections and then calls to action. So you can create sections for each page and then think about what your headline could be, what your supporting text could be, and what your call to action could be. And then when you create images for your website or graphics, figure out how you can repurpose those across the different pages on your website so that you're reinforcing ideas and creating less work for yourself. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm excited to hear what you think about this and if it's helped you kind of like see your website and your website strategy in a new, more clear way. So best of luck, have fun, and I'll talk to you soon.